Good morning, Bianca.
Hey Nadine, how's it going?
Yeah, things are going well. How about you? Are things still pretty busy on your end?
Yeah, they are. I had two midterms last week and another on Friday.
Ooh, that's quite a bit. So, with that in mind, let's focus today on working smarter, not harder, so we can use what little free time you have as efficiently as possible. Did you have a chance to work on your math flashcards in the ACT math section that I assigned?
Yes, I did. So the tips you had for me for identifying special triangles in context absolutely helped me get through some questions late in the test with so much less trouble.
Great. So that's what we want to hear. Always looking for those shortcuts, and your pacing will keep improving. Now, speaking of shortcuts, let's take a look at a topic you've told me in the past is a tough one for you: percentages. So what is the difficulty here?
Well, they just don't make much sense to me, especially with word problems. I mean, I see all these numbers and words together and they're somehow related. I just kind of shut down because I just don't understand how.
Absolutely. And you're in good company. Many students really struggle with the concept. Before we take a look at a few problems, let me just say this about percentages. So the percent sign, you know, the kind of percent symbol, it's a mark that indicates a value represented by the little circle to the left of the line divided by 100, the little circle to the right of the line. So when you're applying percentages, just remember that you're just taking the number and dividing by 100 to get whatever the decimal is. And then for the most part, you're just multiplying by that decimal. With that said, let's take a look at some practice problems. Okay, let's start with this short word problem for percentages. Take about a minute here to solve this one.
Okay, so that's pretty easy. It's 100, right?
Okay, so tell me how you got to that answer.
Well, A is the bigger number, and 20% of 100 is 20. So 100 minus 20 is 80.
Well, that is true, but that's not quite what they're asking, is it? So that's one of the really tricky things with percentages. It really matters where you start.
What do you mean?
If they said B is 20% less than A and A is 100, then you'd be right. But what they actually ask is the other way around. So let me ask you this. What is 20% of 80?
That's easy. Like you said last week, 20 is just the math you do at the restaurant to get your tip money. Just take 10% and double it. And 10% of 80 is 8, and 8 times 2 is 16.
Yes, it is. So now what's
Okay,
80 plus?
sorry. I get it. I think that the answer is D, which is 96. Um, I should have slowed down and written it down. That was kind
Yeah.
of a trick question.
Yes, you're right. It absolutely was. So always write it down because they're certainly always trying to trick you. And yes, D is correct. Okay, so now let's try one more.
So that's easy. It's just 0%.
Careful there. So how did you arrive at that answer?
Well, if you go up 45 and down 45, that's just no change.
Normally, yes, but you see, percentages can be tricky. So instead of thinking vaguely about percentages, let's actually assign a value to that baseball card. So let's say it were $100. So if it were to go up in value by 45%, what would it be worth then?
145, right?
Right. Now, here's the important question. Are we decreasing by 45% of 100 or 45% of 145?
It's the second one, isn't it?
Yes, you got it. So what would be 45% of 145? And you can use your calculator here.
Looks like it's 65.25.
Okay, so since the question says closest to, how about we just call that 65?
Okay, that's fine by me.
Okay, so then what's 145 minus 65?
That's 80,
Yes, and 80 is how much less than 100?
20. And 20 is 20% of 100. So the answer is A.
That's correct. So does that make sense to you? And can you see why 100 is a really good number to start from if you're applying percentages to values?
Yes. Thank you for showing me that. I can see that it really does matter where you start for taking percentages because starting from 100 is really easy.
Okay, so we're at the end of our time today. So I'll just send you a quick email recapping what we covered, along with what I'd like for you to do next time. So we've reviewed the concept of percent shifting and covered some difficult percentage problems. For homework next time, I'd like for you to complete both a calculator and non-calculator practice problem from your SAT practice book. And make sure you're applying test conditions when you work. So not looking at your phone, timing each section, and also don't forget to grade it when you're done. Now, do you have any questions for me?
Not right now. Thank you so much for your help.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I'm really impressed with your commitment to the math equations and testing strategies. If you keep putting in a little bit of effort every day, this test is going to feel so much more comfortable for you. Now, as for scheduling, does the same time and day next week work for you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. So you can use the same link as usual, and I'll see you then.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.